My name is Howard, and I've been a journalist for over 4 decades. But there's one story, this one story, that I've never shared until now. So, in the late 1960s, I had heard of a town named Morrowsite. A small, calm and seemingly normal coastal town, but a flood had recently ravaged it. A terrible flood. Though it wasn't the water that left the deepest scars. It was what happened after. People who ventured into the once flooded woods returned different. Some speculated that the deluge might have unearthed something ancient, something that had long been dormant in the ocean's depths, now brought to the surface and influencing the land and its people. Curious and eager for first-hand accounts, I spent evenings at local pubs and bars, striking up conversations with the townsfolk. Their stories, shared in hushed tones over drinks, hinted at an alarming pattern. Those who ventured into the woods were not the same when they returned. What I gathered was truly unsettling. Husbands often awoke to find their wives staring intently at them, humming an eerie, unfamiliar tune. After venturing in the woods, pets, once aloof, now observed their owners with prolonged, intense gazes, as if they were studying them for the very first time. Some claim that they found strangers in their house, and once found, the strangers simply stated that they just wanted to play hide and seek, like all humans do. Others claimed that they were just sleepwalking. In the middle of lessons, teachers would occasionally freeze, their gaze fixed on a distant point, before snapping back to reality. At the local grocery store, cashiers began acting strangely, ringing up items with deliberate slowness, their eyes never blinking, always meeting the gaze of the customer with this unsettling look. Anyway, these people, they seemed like actors, poorly mimicking human behavior. It was as if they were people, trying to be people. And it was clear that the woods had something to do with these strange behaviors. As an eager journalist, I had to go investigate this forest. The woods of Morrowsite were quite dense and eerie, but a peculiar stench guided me. It was the smell of a dead sea and rotting fish that grew stronger and stronger with every step I took. It felt like I was being led, beckoned even. And after about half an hour, I stumbled upon something. It was a gaping hole in the ground, and the scent clearly emanated from this abyss. Morbid curiosity, or perhaps some other force, pulled me in. Once in, I found some sort of... I don't know. I had never seen anything like it before. It was some sort of tentacular amorphous mass. Grotesque, cold, and incomprehensible. I felt like I was looking at some god. But the most unsettling thing is that it was connected to hundreds and hundreds of brains surrounding it. The sight was nauseating, the smell and seeing this some sort of grotesque orchestra of consciousness. But the realization was far worse. These hundreds of brains had to belong to Morrowsight's townsfolk. They had to. It would explain so much. These people, the very core of who they were, their brains had been subjugated, stolen by this being. Their bodies had become mere marionettes. I theorized that perhaps this entity implanted fragments or something of itself within the skulls of these fake people. They now had their brains residing here, in this monstrosity. Having your brain, your very consciousness, under the absolute dominion of such terror. There's no escape, no place to hide, no means to resist. You're left to merely endure whatever this entity may desire. You can't run, you can't hide, you can't defend yourself, you can't even die. Anyhow, not long after looking at this thing, I stood paralyzed. But then, the mass, it shifted, revealing for an instant what lay beneath this. I cannot tell you. The chaos I witnessed, it seemed to have shocked me back to my senses, so I think that I turned and fled as quick as I could. I think that I left Morrowsight and never returned, and buried the story, convincing myself it was too outlandish, too unbelievable. But the question always lingered. Why was I spared? Was I chosen to bear witness and to warn others? Or is the entity simply toying with me, letting me believe I'd escaped its grasp? Is my brain still in there? What if there are more of these entities hidden in the world's secluded woods? Each time you wander into the wilderness, how can you be certain you've genuinely returned? Perhaps the life you're living is just an illusion, a synthetic construct of something else. I mean, doesn't the world sometimes feel a bit off? So I ask you, why are you really here? Did you choose to watch this video? Or were you guided by something else? How can you know your thoughts are truly your own? Is your mind truly yours?